Leisurewatch is a public safety programme to try and help people who run public spaces to make them safer, particularly for children and vulnerable adults, but really for everybody, and to get the balance right between being panic-stricken about potential risk and managing real risk.
Leisurewatch started from a couple of cases that I was involved in. The first was a man who had been attending regularly an amusement arcade, and he'd been going for a few weeks, helping kids out, giving kids money, and everybody there was a bit nervous about him. But nobody did anything, nobody said anything, until he was arrested, and it turned out that he was taking boys out behind the amusement arcade and engaging them in sexual activity. When I read the witness statements of the case, all of the workers in the arcade had spotted this man. They were concerned about him, but nothing had happened. I was then involved in another case of a woman who was a prolific shoplifter. And she walked into a department store in a big shopping center, and as soon as she walked through the door, she was spotted by workers there. Security was informed. They came down, and she was ushered out. And it just occurred to me, well, we're talking about shoplifting and property. There are systems in place, there are responses, people knew what to do, and this one was dealt with. When it came to sexual offending, nobody was really sure, and nothing happened. So the idea for Leisurewatch came out of those two cases, and the idea that we should have systems in place to deal with situations where people are worried, but they don't know what to do.
We thought it would be useful to have something that would give the people who are very much on the front line of public places extra skills and the information that they need to know what might be a risk. What we wanted to get across to people was that they need to be looking for patterns of behaviour. There's a judgment to be made about how much information would be useful to people and what do they need to know about, and how then they can use that to make themselves more empowered to manage the risk.
Leisurewatch targets public space. While we have agencies out there who target the internet, we can't forget about public spaces, leisure centres, shopping centres, community centres, any environment where you have adults and vulnerability mixing together. So vulnerability, mostly children, but can be adults as well. So where you have that ability to mix in, to engage, to talk to get to know, to befriend, to trust, to gain the trust, that can be abused by certain individuals, and they can then manipulate young people especially into trusting and befriending them for all the wrong reasons. So we have to think about what can we do about this, how can we manage this better. And what Leisurewatch is trying to do is to say to staff and managers, we'll help you manage your site better, we'll do the training, we'll make sure that 80% of your staff are trained and have a better awareness about certain types of behaviour, i.e. what to look out for. How do we manage sex offenders? We'll put on-site signage. We do an audit of every building. We go round and have a wee look at a building from our eyes, from trying to be in the shoes of a sex offender and say, well, I would change that. And more importantly, what to do about it. So we've set up a protocol with the police where information concerning behaviour can be reported directly to the police. I think that it's a product that is extremely important, because what it does is that it gives awareness and sets up better vigilance around these types of behaviour.
Leisurewatch is for all different sorts of organisations. We've worked with leisure centres, swimming pools, visitor attractions, shopping centres. It's very popular with large shopping centres. We also work with managers who very often have very difficult day-to-day decisions to make about whether they should be concerned about a particular individual or what that particular individual is doing. And in the past haven't always had that kind of support which enables them to know when to make a decision. And we also would say that we're there for the leadership of those organisations who have a very heavy burden of responsibility. They're running places which often have thousands and thousands of people coming through them every day. We know from experience that unfortunate things happen, and it's not an easy place to be in if you're in the leadership of those organisations. So I would say we work for all those three layers: the front line, the management, and the leaders of the organisations.
Leisurewatch is very important for venues like ours. Anywhere where there are children, families are going to be on a regular basis, and particularly get a lot of people in one place. It gives us the confidence to know that we've got backup should there be anything that if we see anything that we know we want to report. It means that we've got the training in place so that all the staff know how to deal with these incidents should they ever occur, which we don't want people to be frightened. It's not that these things are on a regular basis, but we don't want to be complacent. And we want to know that we've got all this set in place, and Leisurewatch is a fantastic resource for that.
The big advantage of Leisurewatch is certainly as a manager, it gives me some confidence in the fact that staff are aware, they've got an understanding, they're trained, they can deal with situations that perhaps in the past we never knew existed. And I think what Leisurewatch ultimately does is it does make a difference in that if we see something and we can sort of flag that up through the Leisurewatch protocol, you know, we can make a difference. That's the big positive about it.
Leisurewatch supports us. It's a tool for us to use. There's a framework there that you work from. The staff know what to look out for. So if they see something that they feel is vulnerable, the Leisurewatch training itself has given them the confidence not to be frightened to mention that situation. So whereas before they might have looked and just thought, oh, I think that's something happening, because they're aware of what Leisurewatch is all about, they're not frightened to challenge that situation and for us to report that situation, because they're never wrong.
The Edge is the main campus sports facility at the University of Leeds, and where we've got our gym, swimming pool, exercise studios and sports halls. I think the benefit of Leisurewatch to the university is that peace of mind that we're looking to provide a safe and secure environment for our students who are moving away from home for the first time, and it's that reassurance that again we are doing everything possible to ensure that they do have a safe and secure environment to carry out their studies.
I did the Leisurewatch training a couple of years ago, but it gives you the confidence to know that if you see something that you're not happy with, you know you can use the referral system, and you know that something will happen at the end of it.
Well, I see Leisurewatch as an integral part of our security operation. I see it as another tier that the security team are trained in what to look out for in people's behaviour, and where there's risky behaviour, they're able to spot that and then escalate it or take action and do an intervention, and they need to be able to be trained on how to do that. So Leisurewatch is without doubt one of the best things that has happened to our shopping centre.
Staff are just more confident in dealing with situations that they think might be problematic. Rather than sitting around worrying, they know what to do, and they're, I think, a bit more aware of when they should be concerned. And there's response when there is worrying behaviour going on. And I have no doubt that a number of offences that have been prevented, and that's a number of victims who weren't created. Community safety is everybody's responsibility, and I think we all need to step up to the plate, and I think we all have an obligation to take up that responsibility.